YouTube, welcome to the top 8 grand finale and top deck list of the new pack release day. Snake Eye Fire King is dominating today's tournament, but I'm not sure if it's better than Rescue Ace. We're going to find out right here, right now. Pajame.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
All right, starting off with Bystial Runic versus Fire King Snake Eye. Begin by watching as long as you can. That greatly supports these videos. Let's go, let's go. Just the tip, we're gonna tip a golden droplet from the deck to our hand, randomly banishing a bonfire off the opposing player's hand. We're now going to be using the droplet to special summon. Now, you could block the Max C by cutting it off by summoning it with the Flash Fire instead, so that your golden droplet will not summon anything, thus they don't get to draw for the Max C. That's exactly what we're doing. Let's go, I got the mind of the Runic Bystials. Come forth, summon, no draw for Max C, and we now draw 3. Off of the draw 3, come to me. What do we want here? We want Runic cards. We did not grab any Runic cards, but we have the Cartesia to fuse during the opponent's turn. Unfortunately, triggering the Runic Fountain is not going to be happening unless the Gangrenol sends a Garura, which draws into a Runic card, which then triggers the field spell. We have the Ash searching for Poplar. That is our normal summon. Poplar triggering, come forth, and search our deck for the original Sinful, which could summon Eponyx from the deck. We're going to send ourselves to summon an Oak. Oak is reborning from the graveyard the Ash as the Poplar equips itself into the back row. Got lots of protection. Call by the Grave and cross out Designate for any of the normal standard hand traps here. Oak sent itself plus the Poplar to summon for the deck a Flameburge Dragon. We have not even gone into the Fire King cards yet. We used Flameburge to put Poplar into our back row. That is not standard. That's quite interesting. We do have the original Sinful in the hand to still be used, and that's why we did so. Triggering the Flameburge after summoning the Wolf to trigger the Wolf to grab in the graveyard our Flameburge Dragon back to our hand. We have now had enough. We're done. We're going to use the Cartesia to fuse into the Gangrenol, using our hand to send the Bystial Alibur, sending a wall Malong. Malong's going to be returning back the Wolf back to the extra deck. We're going to use Call by the Grave to finger the Malong, and we're going to banish the Malong with the Baldrake to dodge the finger. Chain, banish Malong, doesn't get fingered, and now the Wolf is going to be returned back to the extra deck you go before making a Promethean Princess. That's quite annoying to deal with. We're now going to be making our Linkuriboh, further linking this up into an SP Little Knight. As we now Little Knight on summon, banish the Runic Fountain off of the field for good. Now, is it for good? You can make a Dissipator, return it back to your deck. That's pretty much your only way to get it back. We're going to original Sinful, summon Eponyx. Eponyx search for the Fire Sanctuary. Sanctuary set up the Fire Island. Pop a Fire to grab the Garunix, which will trigger off of Pop in a Fire to summon itself onto the field, to then pop a Kirin from the deck, which will reborn a monster from the grave, a Fire King, or summon a Fire King from the hand, pop in a card in the field non-targeting. To battle we go. We have a Damage Step Gary, which will destroy any card in the field, wiping out the Little Knight. Main phase 2, we're going to link this up into a Hida. Hida, steal a fire monster, but there is no fire monster to steal since we didn't use an Ash. We're then going to be making our Promethean Princess. Promethean, come forth, reborn from the grave. Now, if we could banish the Fire Island, that will trigger to wipe out the entire field of monsters. We have Garunix triggering to summon a Quem from the deck, sending from the deck a Cartesia, further Shokuning into a Doolittle Chimera. Why the heck would you play this? If this card is destroyed, you can target one fire monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So it's a good way to recycle your Kirin. Pop the Doolittle, pop the Quem, reborn the Promethean Princess, add back the Kirin. Nuts. Let's go. Cartesia add back during the end phase, and the Kirin can quick effect pop the Flameburge, which was added back with the Wolf. So that's ridiculous. Not only are you going to trigger the Flameburge to reborn from the graveyard, you're also triggering the Garunix to then trigger the Kirin to then pop a card in the fields after reborning. Lots of triggers and crazy plays here. Let's go, let's go. We have the Eponyx being added back to the hand during the standby phase after being destroyed. Okay. We have the Golden Sword Soul. We're now going to Kirin pop Promethean Princess instead of the Flameburge. We're going to trigger Garunix reborn, pop Kirin from the deck, pop Arvata instead. Arvata is going to reborn the Doolittle again. Doolittle is back. Welcome back, Doolittle. We want to, I guess, trigger the... we're going to be using Promethean Princess to instead trigger the Kirin. What is going on now? we are activating the effect of if your opponent special summons to perform an Xyz summon during the opponent's turn. Now, the Chaos Angel is protected from monster effects and cannot be destroyed by battle. Let's go. Rank 8 Xyz with the animation Hayang of the Fire Kings. Goodbye to the field spell that will activate, but will also activate the effect of destroying all other monsters on the field. Just the Cartesia and our Doolittle. Wipe it out, then goodbye to you. Now you do have the other effect of when destroyed, you're gonna reborn from the graveyard up to the materials we had attached to the Garunix. Doolittle trigger, come forth and add back the Kirin. The Doolittle recycling Kirin is quite insane. Continually recycling it. That's nuts. And now we have Arvata, which will be able to negate that Nibiru if we'd like. Otherwise, it can negate any monster effect whenever we want. We're allowing it to go through. And the Chaos Angel does not make you unaffected from your own monster effects, thus your own Nibiru does tribute your Chaos Angel. We're going to Lubellion, search for a Druiswarm, banish a light or dark from either player's graveyard, come forth and summon, trigger the Golden Sword Soul off of a card being banished face up to reborn. We have the Quem, send from the deck to the grave. We're going to Cartesia, special summon onto the field, make a Dispater. Dispater can special summon the Chaos Angel, which will activate to banish a card in the field. Druiswarm, send the token to the grave. Quem, trigger, reborn the Cartesia from the graveyard. Holy moly, what the hell is going on? I don't think we have a battle phase, do we? Defense, because we don't have battle phase, right? I don't think so. On summon, banish the Crossout Designate. As I said, reborn with the Dispater. Do we have a battle phase? I don't know. We're gonna chain banish a Maxia from our deck. Further Shokan into Little Knight. Little Knight on summon, banishing from the graveyard. Goodbye to Ponix. We're gonna send the Dispater for the Bestial Lubellion. That will be activating to set up into the back row our Branded Regained. We did skip our battle phase, that's why we were summoning into defense. If they special summon, we'll trigger the Regain to reborn the Dispater, which will be able to negate a monster effect. We're also going to be able to banish with the Little Knight. And do we have another Gangrenal in our extra deck to summon? We do not, but if, okay, we could return it back with Dispater. So if Dispater negates or destroys a monster, we could return back the Gangrenal, then fuse. Ponix on summon, gets searching for the Quick Play Fire King card that pops cards in the field. We're going to SP Little Knight, chain banish the Ponix. Thus, the Little Knight is not going to be banishing. It's stuck on the field. Come to us, and now the Garunix will trigger from the graveyard, I believe. If we have a Garunix, yes, it will. Then we'll pop a Kirin from the deck, which will then pop a card in the field. We pop it like crazy. Regain, come forth, and summon Dispater. Fire King Skyburn, take out the Regained. Wipe it out. The ability of Fire King to take out back row and field spells is insane. And now we're gonna get the non-target pop right here, right now. The Kirin is gonna be reborning from the graveyard in Arvata, right? For a monster negate, plus non-target pop a card on the field, mate. Who was doubting the strength and power of Snake Eye Fire King? Is this not ridiculous? This is crazy. We have Poplar on summon, searching for the original Sinful. What do you do if you open up Poplar and you're playing Snake Eye Fire King against Nibiru? We're on summon number 2. Equip into the back row, original Sinful, send the Poplar into the back row, summoning our Ponix. Ponix is here, come to us, Fire Sanctuary. Are we playing into Nibiru? Setting up the Fire King Island, popping the High King Garunix from our hand to search for a Garunix. Garunix will trigger, come forth and summon number 4. Popping Arvata into summon number 5. Nibiru. Just like that. So I do want to note that it's not just about how well your deck does against Max C or lack of Max C. The TCG, I believe a main focus of that format is how well do you deal against Nibiru? So you could say that Pure Snake Eye has a much better matchup against Nibiru, and you will get Nibiru'd in the TCG. So that's very good. That makes the deck potentially a lot better than Snake Eye Fire King. Now, in Master Duel, you're way less likely to get Nibiru'd, but you will get Max Seed, and that's the big difference. All right, yeah, damn. That was not a good Nibiru play. Anti-Nibiru, that is. We got super Nibiru'd. We're going to be searching for our Magna Hut. Magna Hut, banished from the opposing player's graveyard. Chain the Runic Dispelling to come forth and special summon to play around in Ash, but we're still going to get Veilered. So this means we misplayed, right? Draw phase, activate Magna Hut with quick play, a priority, then chain summon, would play around Valor and play around Ash. It plays around both. Yes. So this is the chain link block from Ash, but we are in the main phase when we could have draw phased our Magna Hut. You're also negating Magna Hut? Ain't no way. What? All right. Double negate. No Dragon Search for you, mate, in the end phase. Let's get to it. Let's do it. We are going to now be sending to the graveyard to come forth and summon Lubellion. Lubellion setting up into the back row, our branded Regained. Further Shokanning into a Chaos Angel. On summon, a good way to banish the Fire King Island. It's not protected by the Sanctuary. Take out the token, skip the battle phase. Now back to Exolio. Now, Snake Eye Fire King generally plays just one Fire King Island. One Sanctuary, one Fire King Island. We're going to return back to the deck to search for our one Ash, limited to one. On summon, trigger Regained, Reborn the Baldrake, chain the curses, negate the Snake Eye Ash, and banish 3 cards off the top of the deck. Goodbye, Alcanix, Consort, Courtier. Regain, return back the effect failure to draw 1. Regained gets negated by the Ash. You will not draw 1. Negate. Okay. Is that a good Ash? We have Slumber, which will stop the attack of the Ash, also banishing another copy of the Courtier. Courtier, not available in the TCG. So this is an exclusively new way to play the deck over the TCG. We're going to grab a Bestial Alibur to then Synchro Shokan into a Dissipator. Dissipator is here. We're locked out of the battle phase. We're going to steal the opponent's Link Karibo. Thank you. To now make an SP Little Knight to banish on summon, where otherwise we would have not had the banish. Goodbye to the Impermanence. We're not going to even bother. And then we have the Chaos Angel into defense. The Little Knight cannot be destroyed by battle because of the Chaos Angel. Oh, no, it can, actually. We didn't summon it with a Dark, just Light. So our Synchros are unaffected from the activated monster effects. We Ash killed ourselves into the Little Knight, triggering the Garunix. So there you go. Battle or card effects, Garunix in the damage step. Now, can the Dissipator negate in the damage step? Let's read this. It can not negate in the damage step. So it is going to not only damage step summon, damage step activate pop from the deck, damage step Kirin, can't use the Pater, damage step pop a card in the field. It's all in the damage step. Can't chain Little Knight, can't chain Pater. Oh, we tried to pop the Chaos Angel. That was a mistake. Okay. That's okay. Yeah, no. I mean, not really. We should have popped the Regained. Yeah, that sucked. But that's okay. Still good plays beyond that. The Arvata will be able to negate a monster effect. Let's go. We do have our battle phase. Taking out the Garunix. Sure. Okay, I mean, Garunix does want to be in the graveyard, kind of. Yeah, but if you take out Arvata, I mean, what was the other alternative was the Arvata gets destroyed, then reborns in the grave, then destroys a Kirin during the end phase. That will trigger the Garunix. I mean, look at these plays. Swinging our own monsters in to trigger Garunix is insanity. Now, what we need to take out the Chaos Angel, we need a Ponix. Ponix needs to search for the Fire King spell that takes out the Angel. Or we just take out the Angel by battle because it's not protected by battle because our Garunix got bigger. Okay, let's go. You gain attack equal to half of the destroyed monster's attack. Let's go. Oak Reborn the Ash, but it looks like we're going to get Nibiru'd. No, we're not, because Arvata is going to negate. Negate the Nibiru mate. I love it. Damage step, destroy your own monster by battle, completely flipping the duel into their favor. Absolute insanity. We have the Flamebirds being summoned for the deck here. Nibiru's a hard once per turn, of course. 2-0 victory. Chat, I accidentally watched game 2 first, okay? And when you're trying to correct me, I'm ignoring you on purpose. All right, let's go. Maxing the draw phase, playing right into a game of playing around a Triple Tactics Talent, playing around a special summon Diablo Star, playing around a special summon Fenrir, Those are pretty much all the reasons why you'd want to maxi early. Flameburst equip the Masquerena, and let's go. We have Pop, Disrupt, Negate, Effect Veiler, about 4 disruptions here. Hydrant, Negate. Now down to 3 disruption. Now the emergency will dodge the Negate by summoning from the deck to then send the Hydrant. We're going to use Veiler to double Negate. Still negated, even if it leaves the field. There we go. Now, what else do we have here? We have 2 more disruption. We have Promethean and the Masquerena. So we have to deal with the Turbulence. Can't let it activate. So we could, on the resolution, we passed on Promethean to then activate the Flameburst instead to summon the Masquerena, then link off into a Little Knight. Little Knight on summon will banish. Goodbye to the Turbulence. And then the Preventer is a problem. If Preventer is sent to the grave, it's going to reborn the banished Turbulence. So how do we make that work? How do we get Preventer in the grave? All right, if this card's sent to the graveyard, get Reborning. Add for the follow-up. This is where you're in the scenario where you know you're going to lose the duel if you don't win this turn generally. Take control of the monster. Little Knight's going to be dodging. And we're also going to be making a Link Karibo off of that. Okay, does not want any of the Snake Eye cards to be used against them. Jump off, take control. If I take Amble Whale, you now can't summon Promethean Princess. So you just now had 1 disruption, now you got nothing. Nada. No disruption. And we could summon Turbulence on the field. And we can't use Impermanence. So first we go for the damage. Then we main phase 2 Turbulence. I mean, they're drawing so many cards off of this, it's crazy. Preventer, prevents. Little Knight, banishing the original Sinful, the correct play. Be gone. All right. And now, Turbulence is ready to set up 4 cards into the back row. We did not top deck into a Veiler. You cannot Ash Blossom this effect. We have Negate, Destroy, Flip face down, triple Disruption, no Promethean Princess. All right. Rescue, Reborning Hydrant, Call by the Grave, Finger the Hydrant, Alert, add the Hydrant in the graveyard back to our hand. Little Knight, chain banishing the other Little Knight. Little Knight, chain banishing ourselves plus the Poplar, so this Little Knight will stay on the field. This Little Knight will be gone. And the Turbulence will trigger because, no, it won't. You didn't make my monster leave my card effect, I did. All right. Hydrant dodging the Finger. We have the Extinguish and the Contain as our only forms of 2 disruption. Diablo Star, Contain, Negate. You are contained. We now have Extinguish as our only form of disruption. Now, this Contain, generally it means you can't use it for the extra deck, but we actually can. We could link off the Diablo Star towards a Promethean Princess if we didn't have one already in the grave. Ash, summon, come to us, Poplar. Spectre is on pure Snake Eye, right? Like, it's crazy that we don't really know this deep into the duel. I mean, they would be playing the rank 8 Xyz, likely, right? I mean, the dude's playing Doolittle, which is kind of sus. Odd summon on the Nightmare Phoenix, taking out the Extinguish. Extinguishing the Little Knight. Thus, we have no more disruption left. Drawing a card on that activation to grab an Ash Blossom. You popped our back row, which is another card. Thus, the Turbulence will trigger to pop a card in the field, taking out the Nightmare Phoenix. The Ambler Whale, further wiping out the Turbulence because a Link 3 or lower has left the field. We are going to, you are in fact Snake Eye Fire King. Like, I can't, this deep into the duel, and you finally reveal your deck. What the hell? Playing the Divine Temple with alongside the Fire King Island. We're going to, look at that, boosting up all the level 1s. 5 level 1s. Wetlands is crying right now. Good job, Spectre. So if you've been watching the majority of the tournament today, what do you think about Rescue Ace versus Snake Eye Fire King? Is Snake Eye Fire King looking better? I'm leaning towards Snake Eye Fire King being the new best deck. Airlift off. When did we ash? We said no. On to the airlifter. We're going to say yes to the emergency. Negate emergency. All right. Very well done. And this is the tactic of holding your max C and using the ash to protect it. So if you ash an effect to special summon and they finger your ash, you then get to chain max C. If you chain max C to an effect to special summon, they finger your max C, you then can't chain ash. So this is a definite good strategy on whether you're wondering, should I max C in the draw phase? You could if you didn't have the ash, and then change your mind if you have ash. All right. If we're all going to complain how good max C is, then shouldn't we be protecting it with our own ash? Diablo Star is here, setting up into the back row our original Sinful. Extinguish is going to extinguish a face-up card that you want to send to the graveyard, so we're going to summon another card to send to the grave to come forth and summon our Snake Eye Ash. Ash, add the Poplar. Let's speed this up. Trigger, come forth and summon. Grabbing the Divine Temple, set into the back row from the graveyard. The Oak, send Oak to summon from the deck of Flameburge. Flameburge pushed the Airlifter into the back row, making a Nightmare Phoenix on summon. Triggered the effect of the Flameburge. Also, the Phoenix, if we wanted to pop that back row, we did not. It does protect us from impermanence. We're going to be reborning with the effect of the Oak and the Flameburge, now making a Promethean Princess, reborn from the grave, our Phoenix. And just like that, that is 8,500 damage. Now, Spectre is looks to be a lot more Snake Eye than Fire King, at least through their playstyle. And yeah, this looks like the same old deck. But the other Fire King stuff we've been seeing has been looking to be a lot more Fire King than Snake Eyes. But we'll see. Let's go. Let's go. Continuing the top 8. Bonfire, come to me. If it's true that Snake Eye Fire King does not play as well into a Nibiru, then maybe you all need to start playing Nibiru. So is this what we have to choose with our line? Do we play around Nibiru or into Nibiru? We're now summon number 3, reborn from the grave. And then I guess we're going to be summoning a Flameburst in the deck as our 5th summon is what's going to be happening here. We're on summon number 4. Well, what do we have here? That was a pretty good turn. We have the Promethean Princess to pop. We have the Imperm negate, Veiler negate. We're going to be able to trigger a Kirin to pop another card in the field. And the Reborn from the Grave is not, we don't have an Arvata, so that's not gonna be another form of disruption. We have about 4 disruptions. Volcanics, pop a card to search your deck. That is going to be negated. Konami, are you serious? Why is the dual log not working? You programmed Volcanics, but you couldn't show what the card effect's activating when you highlight? Are you kidding me? It's probably the only card in the game that's not working with the dual log now. No way. Like you see, you highlight Kirin, it says what's activating. You highlight the Impermanence, it says. You highlight Volcanics, nothing. Piece of shite. All right, add a Poplar. Poplar trigger, come forth. And we have the effect Veiler negates. Negate the Fool. We passed on Promethean to use the Veiler. Okay. The secret, they're trying their best. Not good enough. Hida is here. We're going to be popping the Hida here. Come forth and summon. This will trigger the Garunix. And we have Amble Whale also reborning the Heat Soul to draw another card. This will be reborning. We could then pop a card from the deck if we'd like. This is where ideally we'd have an Arvata in the graveyard to reborn to have a monster negate. Let's get drawing. Maybe drawing into a Max C could be pretty good here. Yes. Garunix, get popping. Heat Soul, get drawing. Drawing into not a Max C. Popping Arvata trigger, reborn from the graveyard Kirin. Now, if the Kirin could die, we could reborn the Arvata to have the monster negate. So we have, we don't really have a controlled disruption, except we do have this, actually. This is a rank 8 Xyz. This is nuts. This wipes the field as a form of disruption, triggers Kirin to reborn the Arvata for another monster negate. Wipe the field, but then that will trigger their cards also. Oh my gosh, the poppening is happening. Pop the field. Trigger Kieran, come forth, summon. Your Kieran triggers. My Amble Whale triggers to pop a card. And then, so we have pop. These are 3 pops. Summon, pop. Amble Whale, pop. We passed on the pop. Summon, pop. Okay, so pop, pop, pop. But there's only 1 card to pop. Now, this Arvata will be able to negate, and this is OG Garunix. OG Garunix, when special summoned, will destroy all other monsters on the field. Wipe it. Well, the Exceed likes to get popped if it has materials because it will trigger to reborn. And everything is triggering. Let's go. The Garunix Eternity is reborning 2. The Arvata is reborning a negated Kieran. The Garunix is reborning itself. You're then going to reborn an Arvata. So since we are the non-turn player with our Garunix here, it's going to be the higher chain link, thus chain link block their Garunix, but be negatable by the Arvata. So that's not good. That's bad. So if we add our Garunix, Arvata will negate. Yep. There you go. Non-turn player loses out when there is a negate activatable, not being able to chain link block, destroy it from the hand, to negate from popping from the deck. The High King Garunix being destroyed is not good for it. It does not like being destroyed. It likes when other cards are destroyed. We are going to be reborning 2 fire, then reborn a Fire King, then pop a card in the field. Yes. Reborn, pop a card in the field. Goodbye. The Avatar Garunix will be reborning during the next turn to wipe out the entire field of monsters, but will there be another turn? Probably not. Oak's going to add back the Ponix because we don't have enough room to summon it. We're going to be searching for a Kurikara. Further Shokaning into a Hida. The Kieran did not activate when destroyed yet, so this is scary. We have to deal with the Kieran in some way. That's going to be Apollo USA. Because otherwise, it would be reborning a monster from the grave, then popping a card in the field. We're going to pop, trigger the Garunix because the card was popped, come forth and summon. Push the Kieran into the back row. No pop in sight. You're good. Lots of pops. So being able to see the Sanctuary trigger off of a special summon to rank 8 Xyz into wipe out the entire field of monsters, I loved it. That was great. Now, some of the Snake Eye Fire King players are not playing the rank 8, so they are less cool. But the question is, are they more competitive for being less cool? Rank 8 is nice. I do think so. Arvata plus a way to negate a monster effect. All right. We're going to special summon Ash. And here's what's really annoying. Now, when you have Imperm or Valor against the Ash, which is the best thing to use, right? Kieran at 3, which they're playing it at 3 very likely, even though the TCG is playing 2, it's going to dodge the Imperm and Valor. So now you're second guessing if you should even use your Imperm or Valor. Damn. Now, the Ash leaving the field is still beneficial because it's not going to have the effect of summoning a monster from the deck, but dodge the Imperm. Just like that. Dodge, summon Kieran, get the effect, add Poplar, summon Poplar. Let's go. We are now making our Amblo Whale. Amblo Whale is very easily, like, why are we using this over the Raging Phoenix? Because it's very easy to trigger the effect of pop a card on the field with your Kieran. So that is great. And if you make something like a Heat Soul, it reborns the Heat Soul. Hit Knight Earl. If whatever Earl is pointing to, which Early that is, I'm sorry, whatever she's pointing to, it has to activate, then she will chain to the card activating to then negate a card in the field. But she's not pointing to anything right now, so we have to summon, I believe, a Garunix to where she's pointing to, activate Garunix, then chain the Early to the Garunix to then negate a card in the field. Yes? Let's go. Okay, we're gonna Bonfire, add the Poplar. The Arvata is also a monster negate. Poplar, come forth and summon, activate, Imperm negate. You did this to me, I'll do it to you. I'm gonna Kieran dodge the impermanence. Let's go. Two could play that game. No, you actually can't. I'm going to negate you. And I don't destroy you, so you're not going to trigger. It's just an activation negate, thus can be used in the damage step. And we will destroy our own card, though, but not yours. So you will be negated. I will trigger my Ambler Whale to reborn from the graveyard, our Masquerena. And you will finger me. But if you're not fingering a Kirin, then I think that's considered a win. It's Kirin's the main card you want to finger, but in the mirror match, fingering their Kirin also fingers yourself. So you do also want to consider that. Further Shokaning into a Linkuriboh as we now Oak it up. Oak is going to be reborning the Poplar, triggering the Promethean Princess, popping Arvata. Arvata will trigger the Garunix being popped, but we're also summoning the other Garunix. You don't summon the Sacred Fire King Garunix with Arvata because it would be negated. So this is correct. That's not what they did. They're correctly summoning the Sacred Fire King Garunix, popping from the deck Kirin. Kirin reborn the Ponix, destroy a card in the field, which they surrendered before the resolution of the destruction. The Ponix would also activate, searching for the quick play spell that pops 1, 2, 3 cards on the field we would have popped. The Garunix would actually destroy itself during the end phase due to the effect of the Arvata, then come back during the next standby phase, thus wiping out the entire field. And if there were another monster on the field that was worth negating, the Ponix activating would then allow our early to change the Ponix to then negate that monster on the field. I'm not sold on early, though. Let's go to game 3. Bonfire, Ash, negate. I do not think so, mate. We're going to chain Seeker to search our deck for our Diablo Star. We do have normal summon Alcanix. Alcanix could search for Garunix or search for the Ponix. Normally, you pop a fire, including, let's say, an Ash Blossom, and then you search Ponix. Ponix triggers to then summon onto the field, grabbing the field spell. Then the field spell will search for the Garunix. Imperm, negate. So, like, think about what I've said here. I told you that we have a full combo with Alcanix, and we ate Ash and Imperm. Imperm and Ash have been eaten, and now we're gonna start cooking right now. Okay, here's the real play. We will have a way to destroy a card in the field with the Ambler Whale. We will be able to negate a monster. We will be able to pop a card with the Kirin. We will pop a card with Promethean Princess. We will negate with the effect Veiler. So we have about 5 disruptions. 5. Yes, let's go. We played through 5. Bonfire into the Poplar. And people just, maybe you should be main decking Cosmic Cyclone, right? Cosmic Cyclone the island, and then it wipes out the Arvata. It's not like a complete hard counter, but it's something. Goodbye to the effect Veiler. Fingered. And as I said, anytime your Kirin's not being fingered, if something else eats that finger, it's good. So that's fine. Yep, that's a win for me. It's like, it feels like playing tier limit if a non-tier gets fingered. We're gonna Ash, grab a Ponix, and come forth and Shokan into Hida. Now, we have to be careful. If we now destroy a fire monster for them, we know that Ponix will trigger to summon onto the field where they don't have an open normal summon. Poplar trigger, equip into the back row. We're doing something. We're popping the Ambler Whale, Garunix trigger, Ambler Whale, reborn the Heat Soul, draw a card off of this. This is not disruption yet. We still got that 4 fingers. We are going to be reborning, activate. We pop a Kirin, we're going for a disruption. We're going to draw a card, maybe drawing into a hand trap. This may be a 5th disruption. Maxi, oh my gosh. We're going into one of our 4 disruptions here. Reborn Ponix, take out the Hida. We're now down to 3 disruption plus Maxi. Ponix will search the deck for the quick play Fire King spell that's going to be able to pop cards in the field. We're going to chain summon a Ponix in response to the Ambler Whale being triggered here. The Ambler Whale's popping a card. So knowing that this is really interesting. Knowing that the Ponix is triggering off of Hida being destroyed, but we didn't see it get triggered yet, we are within the trigger window where we have to choose to activate Ambler Whale, which checkmates the Ponix, which on summon, it now will not trigger to grab a Sanctuary because we're gonna pop it before the open game state gets entered for the Ponix to even activate to search the deck. So preemptively activating this when there's just an Ash in the field, it makes no sense. But knowing that they have the Ponix to trigger, it makes perfect sense. Damn, that's smart. Boop. Like, we activated that before the Ponix. That's crazy. Ida, grab a Kirin. Ponix now searches for nothing. Send, oh, we drew in an Ash also. Hey, very nice. Boom, because of Max C. Negate. Oh, this feels unfair. And we're ending our turn. Holy moly. We have Monster Negate. Heat Soul is drawing its third card, mate. The Ponix is just trying to add to the hand. Like, you should chill. What are you doing, man? Leave me alone. I just want to add to the hand. I'm not even summoning onto the field. I'm not doing anything. All right, to battle we go. 9,200 damage. That was bullying. That was BM. You get 1 mark off for that. 3 strikes and you're out. Kaido surrendered. War Crimes advancing to the top 4. Let's go. All right. Quem, send from the deck the Golden Sword Soul. This is the standard anti-Ash Blossom play. Get a Quem out, summon the Hugin, then chain link block with the Quem. Very well done. Just like that. Y'all are asking, how do we beat Fire King? That's it. That's it. Did you know there was a dragon in the cave? I didn't know that. I played this card for years. I never saw it. Now, this is how you're going to beat Fire King. Put it in your deck. Make a rank 4 Xyz. You're good. Yup, that's it. That's the answer. Straight up. What the Dwell? Full turn. Cards cannot be activated in the grave. That's it. Let's see the impact. Gonna add a Poplar, trigger the Poplar, chain the Max C. I saw this one add, but this one's activating. Konami, we good? Chain Kirin to get poppin'. We're gonna pop the Poplar and summon the... We pop the Poplar that was activating to summon. Okay, yes. To play around the Max C. Garunix activating from the hand. But the best part of Fire King is Kirin activating in the grave to reborn and pop a card on the fields. We can't do that. But there is the Garunix Eternity that could wipe out all other monsters. That might be a fun play to do. Regain, return a monster back onto the fields. Garunix pop in the Barong, which activates during the next standby phase, actually. That's pretty cool. Okay. Scooping. It's just, what can we do? What can we do? This may be the best time to play Bestial Runic than ever. Being able to just randomly banish cards off the top of the deck is incredibly annoying. And if you could whip out that Abyss Dweller on top of all of that random banishing, damn, you got a good deck. Very well done. Let's hop into game number 2. Let's get to it. We're now going first. We're not going to have to deal with turn 1 Dweller. Poplar trigger. Thank you, Arid. I appreciate you. Chaining the Maxi. Ash negate the Maxi. And now we can speed things up as there is, you know, the Bestial Magna Hunt will be able to banish a Masquerena. That will be a play that we do want to be checking out for potentially. Poplar trigger. Get equipment into the back row. Ash and itself plus Poplar to summon from the deck. Shokan into Flameburge. We now have the original Sinful, send the Flameburge, summon from the deck into the Poplar. I should say the Ponix, that is. From my observation, it does look like Snake Eye Fire King is not playing as well into potential Nibirus, but the chance to get Nibiru to Master Duel is way less likely than the TCG. It's just making so much more sense on why the TCG is preferring pure Snake Eyes. You have more tech options, more hand trap options. You play so much better into Nibiru. In Snake Eye Fire King, you have to make a hard left over your main play to play around Nibiru. And then why are you just not playing pure Snake Eyes if you're going to play around Nibiru anyway? Now, there are anti-Nibiru plays where, as I said, banish the Masquerena with the Magna Hut. And now we're going to follow up with our Fire King plays. Pop a fire, add Garunix, trigger Garunix, summon Garunix, Garunix trigger, pop the Kirin, reborn from the grave, pop a card in the field, goodbye to Magna Hut, and let's keep on Shokanin. Amblo Whale is back, no longer playing the Raging Phoenix, and we have a Kirin in the hand. So our disruptions here, goodbye to the Linkuriboh. We have Promethean Princess, we have Kirin Destroy, and we got Maxx C. Is that pretty much all we really have here? Okay, what the? It does not seem that disruptive. Rebellion searching our deck for the Saronir. Chain the Maxx C, or activate the Maxx C, as we now Runic Tip into the Runic Fountain. Vanish off the top of the deck, randomly setting up that Runic Fountain. Kirin, get poppin'. It's now time. Well, Ambler Whale is also going to be triggering to pop a card in the field, likely. Pop the Ambler Whale. Whale. Chaos Angel. We didn't have another Link 2 to summon? Yeah, because we didn't make the Wolf, it's going to be a lot more difficult to trigger the Ambler Whale. Now, this Chaos Angel, unaffected by monster effects and can't be destroyed by battle. So how do you deal with it? Well, the main way to deal with it is going to be through the Quick Play Fire King spell, which maybe not everyone's playing this. I don't remember seeing this in every single deck list in the TCG. This will be a good way to deal with it. All right, we thrust in on summon, banishing the Fire King Island. The Sanctuary protects the island from being destroyed. Now, the Garunix is attempting to be... we're Exceeding! We Exceeding! Into the Garunix Eternity Hayang. Druiswarm sends nothing. Goodbye to the Fire King Island. Trigger the Xyz to wipe out all of their monsters besides the Chaos Angel, because it can't be affected by monster effects. Gets wiped out by the field spell. Triggers to reborn 2 monsters from the grave. And we have the Flame Burst triggering to reborn 2 level 1 fires from the grave. Ponix, Ash trigger, add Poplar, summon Poplar, Garunix reborn, Kirin reborn, Garunix trigger, pop a card from the deck, Ash add, Ponix add, the Fire King quick play spell to deal with the Chaos Angel, likely. Yep, we got it. We got the out. Add Poplar, trigger the Poplar, yes, pop in the Kirin. Kirin's gonna take out the Runic field spell, so we have to chain summon a Hugin to protect the field spell right now. Last moment to do so. Hugin, field spell, protected from Kirin. All under Maxx C, by the way. Reborn the Hayang, pop the field spell, Hugin protect, field spell trigger, draw 2, not 3. Turn 2, draw 2, battle phase skipped, let's go. And as we said, Chaos Angel's not protected from the Fire King Skyburn. We're gonna wipe it out. But if this is your main out, hear me out. You summon Hugin protect, and then how do you out it, right? So Hugin protects you from the main outs. But there's no Hugin in the graveyard to finger. Oh boy. Come forth and summon. Gary's blocking the Hugin summon now. We're gonna flash fire, pop the Hida before it activates to summon a fire monster from the opposing graveyard. That is. We're gonna Amphibious Swarm Ambler Whale. It's gonna be triggering to pop a card on the field. But because the non-turn player controls the Runic Fountain, it'll be the higher chain link, thus not being destroyed before drawing. Ida grabbing Arbata, which will be our monster negates. And just like that, no field spell. So how do you deal with the Chaos Angel protected by Hugin? You go for the field spell first. Once the field spell's gone, they can't chain summon Hugin unless they set their runic cards first, which may make it more difficult to deal with the Chaos Angel, because they're going to have to wait. On the activation to destroy the Chaos Angel, that's when they got to whip out the Hugin. All right, the correct way to play around Fire King, having 2 Maxx Cs. We got it. Droll in Lockbird, just like that. No more adding from the deck to your hand. We're going to be ending on a simple Baldrake plus Slumber, but we do have Maxx C and no way to stop the Maxx C. Let's go. Do we Maxx C before the Diablo Star gets special summoned? Yeah, we do. It's an inherent special summon, so you would have to use it before it is summoned to get a draw off of it. We're going to Kirin pop, get draw 1 off of that. Slumber is going to be special summoning a monster from our extra deck on the attack. Come forth. We will draw off of the Maxx C. This is going to protect our Baldrake by banishing the Kirin off of the field. Now we're going to chain destroy the Kirin plus the Baldrake. Dodge the banish, wipe out the Baldrake. Now we have the option under Maxx C to activate Kirin to summon the Volcanics, or we could even trigger, like, Maxx C is screwing us big time. We get special summon twice right now, but do we do it? I don't know if we do it. You also get a token if your opponent draws. Kind of weird. We're summoning twice. Under Max C. Draw again. Draw again. And get poppin'. The Kieran Reborn, okay, so you kind of like, you use the Garunix and the Kieran, but then you stopped the Garunix effect. I guess you were thinking, wait a second, I don't actually want them to draw 2. I'm not gonna special summon the in-hand Fire King. I'm just gonna summon the Garunix that's summoning itself, thus they only draw 1. Okay, sure. Now the Barong being destroyed will activate during the next standby phase to grab a Kieran. No Kieran for you. That sucks. Okay. Now, I mean, we did want the Garunix in the graveyard. Ideally, then we would probably use the Kieran to pop the Volcanics or the Flameburs in our hand to then trigger the Garunix in the graveyard. So think about banishing. Banishing the Fire Kings is good. Abyss Dweller could be good. Let's keep on thinking. What is the best way to stop this deck? We have the Golden Sword Soul here ready to synchro off with the Hugin, making the Tri-Edge Master. We have our Runic Fountain. This is really not looking good for Fire King. Shokan into Baron DeFleur. Baron DeFleur is here, setting up with the Runic Fountain. Druiswarm banishing from our own grave. Come forth and summon. We do not have a battle phase. Triggering the Golden Sword Soul off of a banish to reborn the Quen from the grave. Further Shokaning into a Dissipator. Now Dissipator will be able to reborn a banished monster. We sent the Garunix to the grave, which it does like being in the grave. So now you have to be careful about random destruction. The Runic Fountain, return 3, draw 3. Further Shokaning into Dweller. That's it. That's it. The Dweller is the win. You make Dweller, you win. Grab a Runic Destruction, banishing the 1 of Ash off the top of the deck. Thus, we now need an Oak to reborn it. Now, if we destroy Volcanics, we can't summon the High Avatar Garunix, so this really does suck. It is a Garnet when it comes to Volcanics. Activate the Dweller, nothing will activate in the grave. Volcanics, pop a fire, add Garunix, trigger Garunix, but the one in the grave cannot trigger. And we're going to actually destroy the Garunix so it does not summon. There you go. Return our own banished card back, destroy Garunix, send a Flameburst to the graveyard, and Flameburst would love to activate if there were enough level 1 fires, which there isn't, but also there is Dweller. Diablo Star is going to get negated from grabbing the original Sinful, which could then summon an Oak, which could then summon the banished Ash, which could then summon a Poplar, which could have made some great plays. Damn. Dweller is the way. What decks are making rank 4 Xyzes? Well, look up the search real quick for some ideas. The Fire Sky Burn is protecting the monster from destruction. If a Fire King card would be destroyed by card effect, you could banish the card instead. To battle we go. Lots of damage on the field. Lethal damage. Damn. Who is making rank 4 Xyzes? Let's see. Rank 4. Who's rank 4 in? Who's making Baguska? Pretty much, the decks using Baguska would be a good to look at. Who's making Dugaris, Time Thief? That's going to be the Tearlament. Let's see down here. Trap Tricks with Dweller. Let's go. It's time to Trap Tricks. It's time to play Dinos. Galaxy Photon, Keck Wait. What else we have here? Tearlament, whip out the Tear. Danger Dark World into Dweller. What else? People now, Dino's already playing Dweller. Some Tearlament playing it. Dweller stocks are going up. Let's go, let's go. Trap Tricks, Dweller. That's your deck. Poplar, come to me. Original Sinful. Link off into the Linkuriboh. We're waiting for a commitment before activating the Max C. That's the commitment, and we go in. But Ash will negates. And then what are we summoning from the deck? This will be able to add a fire card in the graveyard back to our hand. The Kieran is going to be likely popping a card, plus the Promethean Princess. No Ambler Whale. Making Doolittle instead of Ambler Whale. This is kind of sus, yes? No Amblo. Amblo? Where are you? Poplar is here. You negated my Maxi. It's only fair I negate yours. Negate. Now, what is the power of Snake Eye Fire King going second? Can we brute force lethal the mirror match? Let's find out. I'm gonna grab the original Sinful, linking this up into Link Karibo, trigger the Poplar, setting this up for our original Sinful. As soon as a fire monster is destroyed, we're going to be triggering the Garunix to summon, to then pop a card from the deck, which is now. Ash will get popped, we're gonna Max C, as I said. You don't just want Max C on their turn, you need it on your turn also if you want to beat them. Kieran's going to chain special summon before the Max C resolves, thus drawing one less card. We'll draw off the Promethean. We'll trigger the Garunix as we're grabbing the Ponix. Now, both of these can't trigger. Even if the Garunix is in the grave, they can't trigger because there's a ruling where both cards that would summon themselves from the hand cannot trigger in the same chain to summon from the hand. Even if Garunix is in the grave, it's still something that could activate in the hand or grave. You could think the ruling's stupid, but that's how it works. We chose Garunix over Ponix. That's it. Can't do it. We're now going to be banishing the Doolittle from the graveyard. Doolittle was activating to grab back the Flameburge. We are triggering our own Ponix to come forth and summon. Finger the Doolittle. No Flameburge back to the hand. Come forth Garunix. And it's same thing with Barong, same thing with anything that would summon from the hand. The Garunix is triggering to pop a card from the deck. Ponix is searching the deck for a Fire King card right now. Max sees Ian well, yes? Kieran trigger, reborn from the grave or from the hand to then pop a card in the field, taking out the field spell, thus taking out the entire field, wiping. You are also under Max C. So if you would like to trigger your cards, please, I will draw. As you reborn to pop our Garunix, thank you, yoink, draw a card. Sanctuary set up the Fire Island. Further linking this up into Hida. Hida can steal from the opponent's grave. What we are stealing will be the Oak. Thank you for the Oak. Oak reborn the Ash. Oak send the Sanctuary, summon from the deck our Flameburge. Flameburge Dragon is going to be putting into the back row a Garunix so it does not trigger off of us destroying. Yeah, it didn't activate yet. So a very smart play, a really good way to deal with the Garunix. If you see, now there's a risk that there's one in the hand, but we know that it's not because they searched this. So it's public knowledge that there's no Garunix in hand or grave. Raging Phoenix is here. We're going to further link this up into Zealantis. Zealantis plus one other fire, it's lethal if you have a Raging in the grave, and your opponent has a monster also. Otherwise, if your opponent doesn't have a monster, you're going to want to be co-linked with your Zealantis, and then in the battle phase after attacking, wipe out your monster that's a fire to then trigger the Raging Phoenix to come forth and summon. And just like that, how much damage is this? 12,000 damage, go second lethal, Snake Eye Fire King, putting the opponent's Garunix into the back row from the grave so it would not trigger off of us destroying. Very well done. 1 for 1, discard the Oak. We are going in, committing with that Max C right here, right now. All right. Kieran could pop another fire, which could trigger the Ponix to summon from the hand. That is something we could do. Otherwise, Kieran popping Ponix. Ponix would just add back during the standby phase. We're not really triggering anything beyond that. Come forth, end the turn. That's our play under Max C. Okay, well, it's not horrible. It's still, we have disruption. We could Kieran pop Ash, trigger Garunix, pop Kieran, reborn from the graveyard, a Ponix, pop a card in the field. And then we also have Imperm. So we do have at least 2 disruption. Let's go. Maxing the draw phase. Now it's not fair. No, bro. You are not supposed to have a freaking Ash Blossom off the top of your deck, mate. Ain't no way. I thought this was Max C versus Max C. All right, Poplar add back. We have the double disrupt. Setting up with the Divine Temple. I think a lot of people will be split on whether they should still play Divine Temple. Imperm onto the Ash. I got Kieran, bro. Oh my God. Just seeing it in the mirror match is it's crazy. Like, you know, they possibly have Kieran because you have Kieran. They then Kieran your Imperm. Damn. Add the Poplar. We still have a destroy with Kieran. But when? When do we do it? When is the big question. So I'm really interested in when Exolio decides to whip out that Kieran play. We have to do it at a pivotal moment. When is it? Can you just wait for Zealantis? Can you wait for like an access code talker? Can you really wait that long? What if they get an Apollo USA out? That's an Apollo USA. So it was until they could set up a way to negate our play is when we make the play. But was that correct? Garunic's gonna summon, Garunix will pop Kieran, Kieran will reborn from the grave or summon from the hand a Fire King, then pop a card in the fields. Let's go. Oh, we are rank getting season. That's the extra disruption. I gotta remember that they're doing that. That is crazy. So they're gonna be able to on summon, activate to then wipe out the entire rest of the field of monsters. Let's go. I mean, it's kind of popping at the same time Kieran would pop. So in a way, it's kind of the same disruption. So even though we had 2 disruption, yeah, we still only had 2 disruption in a way. We have the Arvata reborning the Ponix. All right, we potentially have 3 disruption though. Wiping out all other cards, triggering Ponix in the hand. Hida is also gonna be searching from the deck. We have to worry about the Garunix Eternity. If we destroy it, it's gonna reborn the 2 cards in the graveyard. Reborn 2, reborn Arvata. So in a way, it actually is triple disruption because we got Arvata into the graveyard, and now we have a way to reborn the Arvata. So we do have the Arvata as our final form of disruption. But then the Kieran, we didn't Kieran effect yet. So we can actually, wow, like this is even more disrupt. Instead of 2 disruption, I just have to pause this. I thought we just had Imperm and the Kieran. Instead, we had Imperm, High King Garunix, the Hyang wipe the fields. We then, if the Garunix gets wiped out in some way, it's gonna reborn the Arvata and a Kieran. The Arvata can negate a monster effect by destroying the Kieran, then Kieran can reborn from the graveyard, pop another card in the field. So it's pretty much 4 disruption off of, we did that through a Max C. So we have 2 more potential disruptions. But how is Garunix Eternity gonna be destroyed? Like, the 3rd and 4th disruption's a big maybe. That's likely not gonna happen. It would have been ideal if we had a Promethean Princess in the graveyard, but because of Max C, we couldn't cook enough to get Promethean Princess in the grave to trigger our Garunix Eternity. Thus, we get pushed into the back row. Thus, we get lethaled again. Turn 2 lethal again. To be fair, we Max Seed, okay? We Max Seed, stopping them from getting a Promethean, which could have popped the Garunix Eternity, which could have triggered an additional 2 more disruptions. 2-0 victory. Now, Bystial Runic is winning through making Dweller. So just go first, make a Dweller, and then none of the Fire Kings can activate in the graveyard, and then you win. Simple. And we have no hand traps whatsoever. Had we had an Ash, the Huggin is being chain link blocked by the Quem. Been seeing it all day. Huggin is never activating without being chain link blocked. Otherwise, you would activate it in the draw phase to play around a Veiler. We're now going to further Shokan this up into a Tri-Edge Master. We could speed this up. Draw a card on summon, Shokan into the Baron to floor. We're now protected from a potential Nibiru, banish in the grave, regain, return back, trigger the Golden Sword Soul, reborn a level 4 tuner. Just like that. Now we Shokan into our Dissipator, which could reborn a banished monster. Also sending Lubellion to the graveyard from the deck. We're going to now link this up into an SP Little Knight, activate the field spell, and where's our Dweller? No Dweller. We're going to Diablo Star, add from the deck with the Wanted Sinful Spoils, pushing the Baron to floor into nothing as it just forces the Negate. Negate. We don't have any Runic cards to trigger our Runic Fountain either. Regained is going to be required to draw. So we're going to have to Baldrake Banish, trigger Regain, draw into our Runic card, otherwise we're screwed. The Little Knight is now also off the field due to the impermanence. No Baron, no Little Knight. We have our Baldrake as our main, well, actually the Golden Sword Soul, because the card was banished off of the Little Knight. Thus, the Regained needs to draw into a Runic card right now. We need a Runic card. No Runic card. We are screwed. Bonfire, Ash, Negate. Negate. And then we have follow-up Diablo into an original Sinful, and we really have nothing to stop it. If they want to summon from the extra deck, the Baldrake contributes the Guiding Quem. We do have the Dissipator in the graveyard, so it's important to remember that on a summon, Reborn Dissipator, we do have the ability to negate a monster effect. So we now don't, because we're now going to negate the negates. We're going to original Sinful, send Diablo Star, come forth and summon Ash. Ash activate. If you try to negate, we'll negate the negate. That's exactly what we're going to do, mate. Arvata, negate. Negate, and then if you do, destroy a fire monster, getting rid of our Snake Eye Ash, keeping the Kurikara in hand. A fire monster was destroyed after being added, so it does trigger to come forth and summon. And then the same thing's going to happen with Garunix. Tribute right now early for the Kurikara Divine Carnate. Now, why did Pater not get tributed, right? It says it was activated. It was used. Did it change the wording? Oh, it still says used. So the activation was negated, so it didn't actually activate, but it did use the effect, and the Kurikara will tribute over monsters that activated their effect, but this didn't. So there you go. Yep, activate their effects this turn. Did not activate, it was negated. And that's only if you negate the activation, not the effect. We now have Garunix after being added after destroying a fire. Come forth, pop a card from the deck, pop the Kirin trigger, reborn from the graveyard, pop a card in the field, taking out Dissipator. Further Shokaning into Hida. We have a fire monster of the grave. Of course, we have that Ash Blossom. Damn. In a fire meta, Ash being fire just sucks. They always have that Hida to steal the Ash to make a 2-card Promethean Princess. It's disgusting. Let's go. Begin. Runic tip. You know, Brock did come prepared today, at least with Dweller in the extra deck. That is something good. We do have the Impermanence ready to negate, but we already have the Runic Fountain, so that's good. Otherwise, the Hugin would have definitely been negated here. Shokan it up into Abyss Dweller. So this is a situation. How do we Dweller around Imperm? If you dwell early, you get Impermed. But if you Imperm early, they chain Dweller. So we better not play into the Imperm or we're gonna lose. You have to wait for them to activate a card. Let's say they activate Wanted. You could then chain Dweller, but then you're playing into a Gamma. This is what happened in the tier limit meta of when do you use the Dweller. All right, come to me, Serenir. We're activating Dweller now, but you know, it's not a big deal. We're going to be banishing. This was not something that's impermeable that you would even care about. We're just waiting. Serenir triggering, sending from the deck to the grave a Baldrake. We have the Lubellion setting up a Regained. Banish in the grave, trigger the Regained, return it back into the deck, draw a card here. I mean, we got the setup. We are in a great spot. Magna Hut searching for a dragon during the end phase. Very nice. Further Shokan this up into an SP Little Knight, which will now dodge the Impermanence. Dweller, Imperm, Little Knight? I don't think so. Now it doesn't matter. There you go. That's the true answer. When do you Dweller? You Little Knight. We could have chained Dweller to that right now, but maybe we're afraid of Gamma. Do we play around Gamma? Possibly. Okay, now it's safe to Dweller. It's super safe. We want to be the direct chain link with the Little Knight. What are we doing? We're wide open into an Impermanence now. But they're setting, so it's fine, it's fine. But now we're potentially playing to a Gamma. Do we care about Gamma? Regain trigger, return back the Diablo Star, draw a card. They activate Subversion, you chain Dweller, you can't use the Imperm, so it's like, you know, Gia, not during the duel. And then, and then you just play around the Imperm anyway. All right, good job. Let's go to game 3. Let's go. No disruption. So what does Fire King do if they have an Ash plus a Kirin? We are going to have the disruption through negating with our Vata, linking off with Masquerena, imperming, popping cards on the field with the Skyburn, popping with the Promethean Princess, popping with the Kirin, possibly linking off with the continuous spell into a rank 8 Xyz to wipe out the entire field. So we have 6 to 7 disruptions. And the best card to draw after all this, is Maxx C. So there you go, Maxx C for our 6th card. And, well, to be fair, it's still good, okay? Would you want Maxx C on top of your deck? Yes, because they're going to special summon a lot through their disruption. It's actually good, but it is late to the party, to be fair. As I said, you want 2 Maxx Cs. It's good for both turns. If it wasn't good, our Vata would not be negating it. Am I right? We would not negate if it wasn't good. It's still funny to draw it after all the summoning, though. Poplar Trigger, equip into the back row. And so we had 6 to 7 disruption. Now we have 5 to 6 disruption. The Masquerena is going to be Shokanning in response to the Lubellion, making a 2-material Polyusa. So now we have 6 disruption. 6 to 7 again. So we had 7 to 8 if we were making the Polyusa. Quem is going to get imperms. We're now down to 5 to 6 disruption. The maybe disruption is the Sanctuary. All right. To battle we go. Within the battle phase, we could use our runic cards without losing out on our battle phase. Apollo's going to negate the Druid Swarm. Now down to 4 to 5 disruption. We are going to be using the Sky King to wipe out the Quem. We're now down to 3 to 4 disruption. Runic tip, search our deck, all within the battle phase. You could summon a Gary, swing in, then Gary could destroy a card in the field, but the Apollo can negate. Doolittle is here. Main phase 2, okay. Set up with the field spell. Kirin is going in. We want to take out that field spell. Pop Doolittle, trigger Garunix, trigger Doolittle, add the Oak and the Graveyard back to the hand for the follow-up. Doolittle is quite interesting. I do believe TCG players start adding in Doolittle later into the meta. Pop in the Kirin, Reborn, pop a card in the field. We're going to summon a Huggin. Now, Apollo can't negate Huggin. So what do? Huggin protect the field spell. So we're going to summon, pop, protect. There you go. 2 to 3 disruption left. Fountain trigger. Return back in the deck. We have Promethean, we have Apollo, and we have the continuous spell. We are activating Promethean. We are fingering the Promethean. Negate. Now we just have Apollo USA and the continuous spell. This triggers off of an opponent's special summoning to make the rank 8 Xyz that wipes out the rest of the fields using just monsters. So we can do it right now, but then we lose our Apollo. We're not doing it. We're going to negate. We now have 0 to 1 disruption. We have the Fire King Sanctuary. We could only play through 7 disruption, then we surrender. Brock, it was a valiant effort. You did well, my friend. Thank you very much. You almost made it to the grand finale. They only needed 7 disruption to stop you, and they even negated your Maxx C that you drew off the top of your deck, drawing it 1 turn late. So thank you very much, Brock. You are great. Now, the discussion of, I think the discussion of when to Maxx C has to be brought up again. If you're playing against Fire King and you don't Maxx C in the draw phase, there's a very small chance that they normal summon Arvata as their opening play, and then they can now negate your Maxx C. Do we fear that? Do we care? Do we still just hold on to Maxx C sometimes? It is something to consider. It's kind of like the Adamancipator normal summoning the rock that negates the Maxx C, where it's, that's why you would want to Maxx C early against Adamancipator. It's much less likely because it is a one-of. So good job, Sneak Eye Fire King. Let's go to the grand finale. Let's go. Grand finale. Let's go. This is the grand finale. Yup, and the grand finale. Send the Poplar, summon the Ponix. Ponix on summon, activate to grab the Fire King Sanctuary. Sanctuary setting up the field spell. We wait in with that Nibiru, and there's no moment where they could make an Apollo USA, so you're not forced to Nibiru. We're just kind of chilling. Oh, let's go right now. wipe out the entire field. And just like that, now the Flame Burst will trigger, so making it not as bad against a Nibiru, keeping up that Flame Burst on the field. Now we're going to be making our real plays. Pop a Fire, search Garunix, trigger Garunix from the hand, come forth and summon. Pop from the deck an Arvata, Arvata trigger, reborn from the grave a Doolittle. And then we're going to further link this up into a Sunlight Wolf. If we link off or summon to where the wolf is pointing to, it will trigger to add a card in the grave back to the hand. And this is how you make Heat Soul. Heat Soul is the way. Heat Soul, Decode Talker, draw a card every single turn. Off the top of the deck, come to me, a double finger. Really good against Kirin. Finger the Kirin and you will win. We have Promethean Princess reborning the Arvata as we then Shokan into the Ambler Whale. Well, what do we have here? The Snake Eye Fire King version of the deck is closer to how Tearlament works, where I would say they are dependent on cards activating the graveyard. So cards like Call by the Grave and Dweller are great ways to stop them. So let's see what's good. We have the Garunix will be triggered to pop a Kirin from the deck, so that's at least pop 1, plus the Promethean Princess. Do we want to count the fingers as disruption? I won't at the moment. Let's just see if it gets disrupted. So we have the Snake Eye Ash and the Poplar. Poplar come forth and special summon. We're thinking and waiting. Well, the wait's over. We're now going to use the Promethean Princess to get popping. Let's go. Come forth and summon onto the field, and that will trigger the Garunix in the graveyard. So we're first going to trigger our Divine Temple. Ambler Whale also going to trigger, reborn the Heat Soul, and then Garunix will summon to now pop a Kirin from the deck to then pop a card in the field. Come forth. Heat Soul will also draw a card. And if a Link 3 or lower is destroyed, the Ambler Whale will then pop another card in the field. So you do have to be careful about that. This is not a chain link block. We are chaining in addition to just drawing another card. Pop Kirin, Kirin reborn. We have a monster negate now. Goodbye to the Flame Burst. Come forth, Link Karibo. We are ready to negate whenever. And we're negating. And while negating, we can destroy one of our Link 3s, and that will then trigger the Ambler Whale to pop an additional card in the field. Let's go. Negate the Poplar, pop the Promethean, trigger the Ambler Whale, get poppin'. Non-target, wipe out Nibiru. Now, what else do we have? I think we're out. We're out of juice. We don't have the Fire King Sanctuary rank 8 Xyz play. We have 2 fingers, though, so that's pretty good. Oak does target, thus we will banish the target. Something like Kashtira Birth does not target. It activates to reborn from the banish or the graveyard. So if you finger in response to it, it will just reborn the banished monster, but it will be negated still. We have Fire King Island as we Shokan this up into a Hida. In this matchup, you're going to steal a fire monster and use its effects against your opponent. Promethean Princess being used against you to reborn our Flame Burst in the graveyard. As we further Shokan this up into our own Promethean Princess, of course, we cannot activate the newly summoned one. We're going to Shokan into a Raging Phoenix as the Flame Burst triggers to reborn 2 monsters from the graveyard, but the second finger comes into play, fingering the Flame Burst Dragon. Our limited to 1 Ash, fingered. Flame Burst, fingered, and they generally only play 1 Flame Burst in the Snake Eye Fire King deck. Pop the Raging Phoenix, trigger the Garunix after being added from the deck, come forth and summon, activate Pop a Kirin from the deck. And what did I say? What I've been saying all day is a Kirin that's not fingered is a happy Kirin. So the other cards ate the finger, but we still did not trigger our Kirin. So what's up with that? We're going to be reborning the opponent's Link Karibo, Shokaning into Celine Navida. Celine reborn a Diablo Star from our graveyard. Come forth. Trigger the Diablo Star, set up into the back row an Original Sinful. We're cooking. Into an Ambler Whale. Battle phase we go. Wipe out the Garunix and end our turn. So I will admit, I am not sure why we did not trigger the Kirin. We didn't have another Fire King in the graveyard to reborn? We didn't. Oh, yeah. Garunix pop Kirin, but Kirin needs a Fire King to summon from the hand or grave. So we popped it for that's it. We popped it and there was nothing to summon. That sucks. So it wasn't a misclick. We just didn't have a Fire King to summon to then pop a card in the field. War Crime's gonna pop off. Warcrime setting up the Subversion. Subversion's going to push the Amble Whale into the back row, turning off the Promethean, which turns off the Garunix, which turns off the Kirin, which turns off everything is turned off. Lethal damage. Not having access to another Fire King screwed us. And Ash could search for a Fire King. Original Sinful could search for a Fire King. You could just open up a Fire King. But otherwise, if you don't have a Fire King in the hand or in the graveyard, the Kirin is not going to be reborning or summoning from the hand to then pop a card in the fields. Let's go to game 2. Baylor summoned Diablo Star. We could argue that Yu-Gi-Oh! From its existence was built upon just inherently being unbalanced and chaotic. And that's why people like the game. Ash on summon going to be negated by the impermanence, but no Kirin. First time I've seen Ash get negated all day by an impermanence. There's always been a Kirin to pop the Ash to dodge the impermanence. Where is it? Now, if the Ash gets destroyed by battle, the Garunix is still a form of disruption. It will summon, it will pop a Kirin, it will summon a Fire King that we don't have in the hand or in the grave, so it actually will not work. Oh my gosh, we're screwed. Yeah, we need more Fire King cards. Maybe it is correct to play Volcanics. I don't think Spectre's playing Volcanics. More Fire King is maybe the way to play this. TCG does not have Volcanics. Get poppin' in response to the finger, come forth and summon our Garunix, triggering to pop from the deck, triggering to summon from the deck a Garunix into defense. We're gonna pop the Arvata. Arvata, when popped, reborn the Volcanics back onto the field, straight into the Link 3 into Promethean Princess. Promethean, reborn from the grave, as we then bonfire it up. Ash, Blossom, negate the bonfire. Arvata, negate the Ash by popping the Kirin, trigger the Kirin, reborn from the grave, pop a card in the field, come forth and summon. How much damage is that gonna be? We have 4,500, Kirin trigger right now. Poplar trigger for, Poplar grabs field spell, that's a plus 1,100 attack. Now it's summoning into defense. Into defense. Pop, 72? You had 7,900 damage. Garunix is being triggered, but as I said, we don't have another Fire King to reborn with the effect of Kirin. Subversion, push into the back row. Pop from the deck a Ponix, because like, what else are we gonna do? I will take your Ponix. Uh-oh. We have Poplar equipped into the back row. We're gonna steal your Ash instead. That seems much better. We're at 7,150 damage. Subversion, push the Garunix back. Ash in itself plus the Poplar. It just like that. 9350 damage, lethal damage going second all day today. Snake Eye Fire King is winning going second. An immensely powerful go second deck and also go first. You need Max C for their first turn and their third turn. Let's go. Snake Eye Fire King takes it all. It is the new best deck of Master Duel. Oh my Jesus, my voice is gonna die. Meta Weekly top deck list, the day of the new pack. Let's see what the top breakdown is looking like. It is, oh my gosh, Snake Eye Fire King. Where's the pure Snake Eye? I don't know, but it's all Fire King Snake Eye. Holy moly. Let's see the Danger Dark World deck. 40 cards clean. Looking good, but I do think you need Alpaca. You should put Dweller into your deck. That's going to be really good for your ending board, probably because of Snake Eye Fire King. Do y'all agree on that, right? Dweller's going to be needed. And then we have Paleozoic. Oh my gosh. 60 card Game Slayer. And then here's the extra deck. I am recommending, if you're playing Paleozoic, for fun also and for tournaments, you should play Fairy Tale Snow with the Zero Boros to just wham bam, thank you ma'am, lethal your opponent. If they have something stuck on the field, like let's take a Masquerena, and they weren't able to link off with it because you maybe you popped their other cards, just boom, 20,000 damage over the Masquerena. Good job, Game Slayer. And then what do we have here? Supreme King, Titacon. This is, so we're not calling this Pendulum Magician. This is actually Supreme King, right? Titacon. Good job. Supreme King it up. Lots of new cards. New. Yep, very good. Thank you. I have a deck to copy now. Labyrinth. Anything new at Labyrinth? We have ABN, J-Dub. Thank you. Anything crazy here? Not really. And then the other one, Snapshot. Thank you very much. Nothing too out of this world. All right. And then what else we have here? We have Rescue Ace. What the heck? Rescue Ace, you're supposed to be the best deck alongside Snake Eye Fire King. What's going on here? Here is the 50 card deck. Looking good. And then the other one, top 16, Darth. Good job to you, my friend, Darth. 60 cards, Snake Eye, not Snake Eye, but regular Rescue Ace. And then let's see, let's start comparing these decks here. Leerlusk. I guess we have to put a Leerlusk engine so it shows here under the engines. What the heck are you doing, man? What? 46 card. Good job, Leerlusk, Snake Eye Fire King. Okay. And then here is another deck we have with anything too crazy here. The Ulcanix. We have Ulcanix at 2. Okay. I do think I want to put Ulcanix as an engine, so I do need help from you all. What should I put on the engine side? I'm probably gonna, I mean, they're all playing Flamebirds, right? So we should hide Flamebirds on Snake Eye Fire King. We should probably hide Diabolostar on it also, but this dude's not playing Diabolostar. So maybe I keep Diabolostar as an engine. We remove the Flamebirds. And we will add the Ulcanix because I don't think they're all playing it, right? 2 Ulcanix, 2 Ulcanix, 2 Ulcanix. Wait, are they all playing? Wait, you're not playing Ulcanix. You aren't, but you are. Everyone but one person's playing Ulcanix. And then the Divine Temple is no Divine Temple in the winning deck. Yeah, I don't see Divine Temple here. Second place Divine Temple. And so I do think I'll put a filter for Divine Temple. Divine Temple within Snake Eye Fire King specifically. So I want to see which one of them are playing that. Because I think that's a big deal. They're of course all playing Arvata. Okay. 2 Ponix or 1 Ponix. A lot of them are playing 1, some are playing 2. Interesting. What else is crazy and different about their decks? The quick play spell's not too big of a deal to be looking at so much, but it's kind of like playing Subversion. That's how I view the quick play spell. They're all playing 1 field spell, 1 Sanctuary. Okay, I have a pretty good feel on how the deck's played. They have 1 Flamebirds, 1 Garunix is pretty much what everyone's doing. And the 2 Ulcanix seems to be the way to do it. Yup. All right, so I like this. They all look very well built, very similarly built. And we have the Rank 8 Xyz. Some were not playing it, 29% not playing it, but the majority were playing it. So there you go. A very good way to build the new best deck. And if we go on the tier list, it's instantly tier 2. It's already tier 2 after 1 tournament. That's insane. It's going to skyrocket up to tier 1. Snake Eye's going to drop dramatically. Rescue Ace will drop to tier 2. Snake Eye Fire King's going to go up. 100%. It's going to jump up there. So there you go. Because it was 7 out of top 16. So let's do the calculator real quick. Online calculator. If this maintains at this cadence of tops, that's 43%. That's a 43 power level. And not even regular Snake Eyes at 43. So this is trending at 43 power level to be up there at tier 1. That's nuts. And then we'll see from other tournaments and our tournament in addition to this, another one. So thank you very much. Balanced archetype, super balanced. And this is why they reprinted the Snake Eye cards. So thank you very much. Let's go.